Happy birthday, America. In the 1950s and 60s, was there any bigger of a sports icon than Mickey Mantle? Today, I'm going to ask our very own Hall of Fame collector, Orlando, several questions about this great phenom. God bless America. I was surfing earlier today with Double D, Dylan. He's over to Tiki Bar. And while he's having a few drinks, I thought we could ask our Hall of Fame collector, Orlando, some questions about the iconic Mickey Mantle. Here are the 5 questions I put to him. First question, why is Mickey Mantle so important to your collection? I don't think just his collection, I think everyone's collection. Do you think anyone starting a vintage collection should make Mantle a must-buy at any grade and any budget? What is your favorite Mickey Mantle card? If you had to sell all your cards and only keep one, what one would he keep? And finally, if you could ask Mickey Mantle any question, what would you ask him? Well, we all like to do that. Let's see what he had to say.
Hi, Dayne. Thanks. It's great to talk to you, my friend. So, first of all, you want to know why Mickey Mantle is so important in my collection. Well, basically, because when I first started collecting, back in the late 60s, Mantle was just the main guy. He was like the big superstar of the day. He was the one that everyone admired. He was a great guy. He was great with the fans, similar to Ken Griffey Jr., someone that, may not have been the best player around, but he was super friendly, super nice with the fans. And of course, he was a winner. He was a champion, and he won so many championships with the Yankees. And to me, he was just the player that I admired back in the day. Everybody wanted to be just like Mickey Mantle. So that's kind of why, I really feel that, he was, really the most important player in my collection. And the first player that I really went ahead and did, that wanted to complete all of his cards. So that's a good question. Thanks for asking. Well, as far as a collection, I think that, no collection is complete without a Mantle card. Mantle was really at the time the, from the 50s, the golden era, he was a superstar. He was the winner, and I think that if you're going to start a collection, especially from the 50s and 60s, you have to have a Mickey Mantle card. He has to be represented in everybody's collection because of the great player that he was, and he was just so admired by so many people, and he had so many fans. So you really can't look back at that golden era of baseball, without looking at Mickey Mantle. So yeah, Mantle for sure is someone that I think everybody should have at least one Mantle card in their collection. Well, Dayne, everybody has, a favorite Mantle card. I mean, there's just so many of them out there, and it's really tough to choose which one is, the favorite, and everybody has a favorite. But for me, I feel that the 53 Topps Mantle is just really, for me, my favorite. If you look at it, it's just literally a work of art, and it is a work of art. It was actually drawn, and it was, the actual photograph or painting was sold years ago. But if you look at this picture of him here in this card, it just shows him in that Yankee uniform with the stadium in the background, the Yankee logo, and the red highlights his name, Mickey Mantle, and it just kind of shows him there kind of in the batting stance. So to me, I feel that, this one here, the 53 Topps, is my all-time favorite Mantle card of them all. Now you ask if I had to, if there was one card that I would never sell, not just any Mantle card, but I think any card in my collection that I would never sell, was the card that it took me literally a lifetime to acquire. And it's really the iconic card in the hobby. And that's my 52 Topps Mantle. You know, it took me forever to get this card. I had to sell off much of my collection in order to acquire it. I looked at many Mantle 52 Topps cards. Had the opportunity to buy a couple of them over the years, but you know, I had to find the right one. And this one, fortunately for me, just you know, came up, and I just had to have it. This particular card came from a collection of family that the grandfather opened the pack, and it was stored in an attic for many years until he passed away, and nobody really even knew that it was there. But they found it in a little box of cards with his toys, and it was literally pulled right out of the pack. So to me, just having this card and knowing the provenance of the card, knowing where it came from, and knowing that I am literally the second owner of this particular card, and it's a card that I will definitely never ever sell in my collection. The original owner never sold it until he passed away, and the family sold it, and I was privileged to be able to have it now in my collection. So yeah, this is the card that, you know, it's so iconic. It's the card that I've been looking for my entire collecting life, and it's a card that I will never ever sell. So that's a great question there on that one, but definitely this is the one. Thanks. So your last question is really a tough question. You know, what could I ask Mickey Mantle if I could actually talk to him and see him and interview him? And I think that what I would ask him is that what would his career have been like if he had not gotten hurt on that game in 1951, where he went for that fly ball and he could have caught it, but he pulled back and allowed Joe DiMaggio to get it, since Joe DiMaggio was his idol and was center fielder for the Yankees at the time. And Mick, you know, unfortunately, when he pulled back, he stuck his foot in that drain line, or the sprinkler head line, and he really tore up his knee back on his rookie year in 1951. And back in those days when he first started, Mantle was really the fastest guy in baseball. He was faster than Willie Mays. You know, they said that his time from first to third was like 3.3 seconds, which, you know, it was incredible. And I would have asked him, you know, what do you think your career would have been like if you would not have had the knee injury that you had? You know, he would have played definitely more games, would have been much faster. You know, he probably could have been the first 40, even 50 guy, steals and home runs, and definitely would have hit over 600 home runs. And, you know, because a lot of the power that you have is really from your legs, from your lower body. And when he got hurt, you know, back in those days in 1951, the surgery wasn't as good as it is today. So, you know, you can imagine, you know, he just never was right from that day, but he still went on to win all those championships and become one of the greatest players in baseball history. But, you know, you can imagine, and I would have asked him, you know, if you never got hurt, what do you think your career would have been like? How much more home runs would you hit? How many more bases would you have stolen? And how much of a better player you would have been without those injuries? So I think that would be the question that I'd love to hear his response to that particular question. So thanks, Dayne. Thanks for for talking about Mantle and asking me these great questions, my friend.
I don't believe what I'm saying. Dylan's standing on the bar doing the Macarena. What are you gonna do? All right, I'm having fun. Hey, I want to thank my very, very special guest, Orlando. Did you learn something about Mickey Mantle today? What about those 2 great cards he showed? I think everyone should have a Mickey Mantle in their collection as well. He is the blue chip stock of the vintage sports card world. Mickey Mantle brings back a lot of great memories in a very special golden era. Join us next time on Classy Sports Cards.